Hey, so in this video, I'm gonna be ranking the 16 most common used content strategies by content creators you probably know. And I'm gonna be ranking them from complete waste of time all the way up to you can buy your Miami penthouse. And I'm not only gonna be ranking them based out of reach, but also based off the selling power that those formats can produce, and also based on simplicity, meaning how much time you actually need to spend on a specific video. First one on the list, the well-known talking head style of videos. This is probably one of the most versatile types that you can actually produce. Everyone does it, and the only thing that you need to keep in mind is you need to actually master those three things, because everything in those videos comes down to keeping retention. And first, you actually need to nail the hook. So in every talking head video, what you will see is there's a verbal, audio, and visual hook. Visual is what you see, audio is what you hear, and verbal is what the creator actually says. You can make them look very raw, for example, like this video right here, but the production can actually go all the way up to videos looking really crisp on a very high Hollywood level. And based on our three metrics, when it comes to reach, I would say that talking head videos can go pretty viral and can generate tons of reach, but this is not their main purpose. When it comes to selling power, I feel like this is one of the best formats that you can do to actually convince someone that you are knowledgeable about the topic. And when it comes to simplicity, it really depends where you want to take it, because as I said, you can make them very raw, but you can also put a lot of production behind it. And based on all of those things, I would actually rank the talking head as definitely proven to work. Second format, spectator. I see a lot of sales coaches utilize this format right now, but it also works in other niches, because what it does is it basically gives you behind the scenes look on what is happening. And that means that it instantly creates curiosity. And to nail this format down, all you need to do is to introduce the idea straight away. Because when you will see the best performing videos in this topic have a very curiosity spiking captions. Also, usually straight away, especially with those sales gurus, they introduce some type of combat straight away, and that makes people tune in. And when it comes to our three metrics, reach, selling power, and simplicity, I would say that those videos definitely can go crazy viral if you nail the chaos at the beginning and also the right captions. When it comes to selling power, in specific situations, it can be really good. As I said, if you're a sales coach, definitely I would utilize that. And when it comes to simplicity, it is also incredibly simple. All you need to do is you have to put the camera in a weird position so it looks like someone is just observing you, and you just need to hop on a Zoom call with your friend and role play the sales call. And because of that, I would score this framework not as high as the talking head, but definitely worth trying. Next up on the list is the transformation format. You've probably seen at least few of those. Those are the videos where someone breaks their transformation, usually from a bad, depressing state all the way up to their success. There is actually not a golden way to nail this format. Sometimes just photos, maybe some footage, and automatic captions can work perfectly and generate a ton of reach for you, where other times those more highly edited ones can really make you an authority in the space. Because it not only makes you stand out because of your unique story, but also allows you to showcase your authority, maybe even flex a little bit while creating connection with your viewers. To nail this format down, you need to remember that those videos are all about storytelling. The better the story, or the better you can actually present your story, even though maybe it's not that interesting, the better the video will perform. And when it comes to our three metrics, reach, selling power, and simplicity, when it comes to the reach, I've seen multiples of those videos go crazy viral, generate millions, if not tens of millions of views. When it comes to selling power, if you can really nail down the transformation, especially if you are selling B2C, I feel like it has an incredible sales aspect to it. And when it comes to simplicity, I wouldn't say this is the simplest thing to do, but it's also not super hard. And because of that, this format goes all the way up to right here, and that means that if you nail this down, you can start looking for your own Miami penthouse. Next up on the list is the street interview format. This format probably was pioneered by the School of Hard Knocks and his videos with interviewing billionaires, also by the guy that goes to the car and asks you what you do for a living. But recently I see a lot of different creators test this format because it has a lot of potential. To actually nail this format down, what you need to know is to constantly have a moving angle. What I mean by that is when you actually look closely at those videos, the camera is constantly moving, switching different angles, and this makes it very interesting. Another thing is usually the first angle of this video creates a lot of contrast or chaos. Those videos are usually filmed in some crowded spaces, or maybe there's a Bugatti standing next to the guy, so it hooks the viewer right away. And when it comes to our three metrics, I would say that reach is definitely the upside of those videos. I don't see a lot of selling power, to be honest. And when it comes to simplicity, I would say that they are actually quite hard to pull off. Like, you need to actually drive into some good location and find those people that you will interview. Of course, they can be easily staged, but even though it's still quite a lot of effort when it comes to just a single video. And because of that, I would actually rank this video as right here as meh, because as long as you're not a dating coach or something like that, I just don't see how you can make those videos work and actually generate revenue. Next one on the list is the carousel format. The people that benefit the most out of this are usually already established big creators, because the thing with carousel is that it is mostly gonna be shown to your following, not anyone outside of it. To nail this format down, the biggest thing right here is just strong copy. That's why people like Alex Hormozi make it so good, because they're just so good at writing great copy. Apart from the second thing is of course the actual pictures, and the good thing about carousels is that you can create a lot of authority over your viewer, even though it doesn't seem like you are showing off. And when it comes to our three metrics, I would say that that reach is definitely not existent on this one, because as I said, it will rarely get pushed to your non-followers. When it comes to selling power, I would actually say that this is a pretty strong mechanism to that, but again, it will only target your own following, so you can kind of think about it as a strong retargeting format. And when it comes to simplicity, I would say that it really depends, but most of carousels that actually work, even though they look pretty straightforward, they take a lot of time to actually do. And because of those factors, I would rank carousel again as the meh category, because as long as you are not Alex Hormozi, Gary Vee, or someone like that, I wouldn't actually put a lot of resources into this. Next up is the Miro board format. This is actually one of the newest formats, I would say, and is especially getting really saturated in the business/make money online space. If you are in this space, I would say that you are probably very familiar with it. What I see working the best with this format is having a really professional looking camera setup and either going with a very complicated Miro board at the bottom or a very simple one that looks literally like a 5-year-old built it. Because of that, you can hook the viewer in the first few seconds and then explain some type of concept. And when it comes to our free metrics, I would say that reach is kind of low on this format. The selling power though can be huge, especially if you can get the viewer to actually retain and actually keep watching those videos. I've seen those videos pop off even though they are literally 2 minutes long. So the selling power is definitely the biggest benefit of them. And when it comes to simplicity, I would say that those are not easy to make, but also they are not as hard as a street interview. And because of that, I would rank this format as Buy Miami Pet House if you are selling B2B. But if you are selling B2C, I would actually just place it right here as worth trying. So because of that, it will end up right here as proven to work. Next up on the list is the voiceover format. Those are all of those videos that you are not speaking directly to a camera at the same time that you are filming, but you are creating the voiceover afterwards. Those videos, similar to talking heads, they can be made really raw, but also can go all the way up just like Jeff Nipper does. The key to those videos is actually having an interesting story that you can tell and having a different B-roll. And especially in those more raw ones, you will see that the thing that usually performs really well is someone telling a completely different story to what they are actually doing right now. And when it comes to our free metrics, I would say that when it comes to reach, those videos perform pretty well. Nothing crazy, but definitely there's an upside there. When it comes to selling power though, I feel like those videos usually doesn't position you as an authority in any shape or form. So I would say that this is a pretty low. And when it comes to simplicity, I will say that it depends, but I wouldn't also say that they are the easiest to do. And because of that, I would rank this format as worth trying. Next up on the list is multitasking format. Those are those videos when someone is doing two things at once. One, they are telling you some type of value or a story while doing their day-to-day things. It can be lifting weights, it can be getting ready, or it can be driving your car. The only real reason that this format is working pretty well is that it basically keeps retention because something is constantly happening on the screen. And to nail this down, as I said, you just need to have an interesting thing happening. And I would say that the best way to go about it is either create a background that builds authority if you are struggling with having authority, or if you have a lot of authority, actually going the opposite way and creating a very warm, family-like background. For example, like Layla does right here. When it comes to our free metrics, I would say that reach is a strong aspect to this format. The selling power is pretty low and the simplicity is actually pretty straightforward. You are just going on with your day and telling a story or sharing value. And because of that, I would rank this format as worth trying. Next one on the list is the reaction format. Those are all of those videos where someone reacts to a different video. It can be like this, it also can be like this and this. I feel like this is a very underrated format because the key to actually nailing this down is to creating a lot of combat straight away. What I mean by that, you are reacting to something that you don't agree with, and the viewer is anticipating this combat that will happen soon. And because of that, it creates a lot of retention and keeps the viewer. When it comes to this format, I would say that reach is incredibly strong. If you can react to something that already went viral and you have an opposing view to that, it can literally give you millions of views. The selling power is pretty minimal though with this, and the simplicity is pretty high. All you need to do is find a viral clip and then literally react to it in the most crazy way. Because of that, I would actually rank it as proven to work. Next up on the list is the visual explainer. Those are all of those videos that have those graphics, icons, and basically tell you a story with visuals. Someone who is really great at this content is Ava, and she's really rocking some good numbers with it. In my opinion, the key to nailing them down is actually making sure that the video itself is really valuable. And all you are doing with the visual is just making it easy to consume. When it comes to our free metrics, I would say that reach is pretty medium with that. I wouldn't say that those visuals usually create a lot of difference. The selling power with those can be pretty damn high, and the simplicity is definitely the weakest point. Usually those require quite a lot of planning and editing. But because I see a lot of brands literally just rely on this specific format, just like Ava, I would say that this is definitely in the worth trying category. Next up is talking back and forth. This format is, for example, something that Jeremy uses quite a lot. To make this format work is the same as with the reaction videos. You need to introduce some type of comeback, some type of contrast at the beginning so that the viewer anticipates what the person is going to say next. I would also say that this format used to be much more popular, and I say that right now it is quite rarely used. When it comes to our free metrics, I would say that reach is pretty low with that. The selling power can be pretty high, especially where you can showcase your expertise, for example, in sales, just like Jeremy, and you can convince someone that this is actually really valuable. The simplicity is also quite high because you just need a friend and you just need to roleplay with them. But because I don't see a lot of people using it right now, and I would say that I didn't see anyone making their whole brand because of this one format, I would say that this is in the meh category. Next up are the green screen videos. Those are those videos where you basically overlay yourself on something that is happening in the background. It can be a video, a screenshot, or some type of photo. I would say that those videos can be used to make really good views, but they are pretty hard to pull off because you actually need to have something interesting happening to actually react to. The same as with the previous one, I feel like this used to be much more popular, but nowadays I just feel like it's pretty outdated and no one is using it. To nail this down, as I said, you just need to have something really interesting, some type of tip or opinion that is very unique and interesting, and you are basically showcasing why it is like that with the green screen. When it comes to our free metrics, I would say that reach is pretty minimal nowadays with those. The selling power is also pretty minimum. And the simplicity is, yeah, it is pretty simple if you already know what you're gonna have behind you. Because of that, I would actually rank it as the waste of time because you just have so many more good options that you can choose from nowadays. Next one is the trading audio plus captions. We all see those videos pop and pop on our page over and over again. Trust me, I probably literally saw 20 videos of someone locking in a villa in Bali. But with all honesty, usually those videos also can be carried by something funny or something really controversial happening. When it comes to how to nail them down, I would say that the most important thing in those videos is actually the captions. They basically do all the heavy lifting, because those videos can be shot really nicely and professionally, but they can also be literally shot with your FaceTime camera. When it comes to our free metrics, I would say that reach is definitely one of the highest, if not the highest in the whole ranking. Those videos easily can get you thousands, millions, or tens of millions of views if you just hit the right trend. The selling power is pretty much not existent. I mean, the only thing that I see those can do when it comes to selling is showcasing a little bit of authority. Because when you have a nice setup, maybe you are in a nice place, you can showcase that. And the simplicity is there. They are pretty simple to make. So I would say that this is mid. And when it comes to ranking them, I would definitely say that they are worth trying. Next up on the list are the podcast videos. Those are the videos that sometimes are faked, or sometimes are actually from the real podcast, where someone sits like 45 degrees to the camera with a professional looking mic and a nice background, and they speak. I see those videos pop, but to be honest, usually the people that benefit with those videos have already established brands. The key to nailing them down is the actual value of what you are saying. There is no way to fake it or make it less than that, because the only thing that truly matters in those videos is what actually you are saying and if it resonates with the audience. Based on that, I would say that reach is pretty minimum with that, because the only thing that usually dictates that the video will go viral is, first, people already know you, and second, it actually makes a ton of sense of what you are saying. The selling power is pretty minimum, and the simplicity is actually not that simple. You need a nice setup to actually pull this. Because of that, I would actually rate it as a waste of time once again, because for 99.9% of people, it will be a complete waste of time. Next up on the list is the long form highlight, where you see basically clips from what is happening on the long form video. You can see them with clippers clipping streamers. You can see that with big creators clipping their vlogs. The strong point with those videos is that they feel very raw, especially if you contrast it with a brainrot on Instagram and you see this type of video, you will definitely stop and like at least appreciate that this is a little more chill. When it comes to those videos, again, the thing that makes or breaks them is the caption, and you especially see that with all the clips of the streamers. The captions need to create contrast, curiosity, or something outrageous. When it comes to the reach, I would say that this is just a gamble, right? Like 1 out of 20 videos that you will post will actually get a lot of reach. So if you already have an established brand, this is a really good way to make it even bigger. The selling power is basically non-existent with that. The only thing that it can do is showcase a little bit of your lifestyle and maybe flex a little bit. So if you are saying something B2C, it can really help. And the simplicity, this is probably the simplest one, because you just take already recorded long form video and you just chop it up. And because of that, I would rank it right here. And the last one is the shot/angle/setting change. And this is the video that Aston Hall is basically known for. You can also see a little bit of that in the old videos of Rob. And of course, the key to making those videos perform is being very intentional with everything. I'm talking everything that is happening of those. And of course, Aston is someone that literally mastered those and built the entire brand around it. To be honest, I don't know anyone else that stayed with this format, because it is actually pretty hard to make. So when it comes to simplicity, it is definitely really hard. You wouldn't actually believe it, how much work it takes to record just like a 30-second video of Aston Hall. The selling power is basically non-existent, and the reach, for most people, it will also be non-existent, but for Aston, it is of course very, very high, because those videos don't use any words, so anyone can watch them. But all in all, I will still rank it as a waste of time. So here's the full ranking. I wasn't intentional of putting Hormozi that low, but it just happened. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.